Good evening. I'm Annie, reporting to you live from N4321 Studios. Tonight we are documenting the recent outbreak of meningitis on the University of Minnesota campus. To learn more about the evolving story, we are going to go over to Jessica, who is on campus reporting. Jessica?
Good evening, Annie. Meningitis has taken over here at the U of M, with over 40 students being diagnosed with bacterial meningitis. Meningitis causes swelling of the protective tissue around the brain. Infectious agents that cause meningitis can be bacterial, fungal, or viral. And unfortunately for the U of M, bacterial is one of the most dangerous and deadly. We were able to sit down with Chief of Medicine, Dr. Jace Gilbertson, to learn more. So, Dr. Jace, tell us a little bit more about how meningitis can be spread.
Well, meningitis, which only lives in humans, is typically spread through the respiratory route via oral secretions such as mucus or saliva. Now, as you can imagine on a college campus, many people are swapping oral secretions. These outbreaks are not uncommon. We've seen a recent outbreak at Santa Clara University this past January and 6 other college campuses over the last 3 years. Symptoms usually take about 5 days to appear from when exposed to the agent.
So who's at risk for getting this disease?
So like I said, it's people who are in close contact with each other. So people in dorms, daycares, military bases, but also those who are unvaccinated under the age of 20 and those with a compromised immune system are also at a high risk.
Finally, how many people are usually affected each year?
Globally, it's about 1.2 million people every year.
Thanks, Dr. Gilbertson. Now we're going to talk to Abby, a student diagnosed with bacterial meningitis. Thanks for joining us. So can you tell us a little bit about the symptoms you felt?
Yeah. At first it started out kind of like the flu, but then I got a super high fever, a bad headache, and my neck was really stiff. So I decided to call my mom because she's a nurse, and she told me that the symptoms sounded a lot like meningitis, and that the most important thing would be for me to rush to the ER as soon as possible.
That sounds awful. So how did they confirm it was meningitis at the hospital?
Well, first they scanned my brain for swelling, and then they put a needle in my back to draw out some of my spinal fluid and test it. And when the test came back saying that there was bacteria in my spinal fluid, that's what actually confirmed the meningitis. So right away they put me on IV antibiotics, and everyone was pretty worried because they told me that if it was viral, the only thing that would need to be done was bed rest.
So why do you think they were so concerned?
Well, they told me that they were monitoring me so closely because of complications that can happen really quickly with meningitis, like high fever, seizures, and a couple other things.
Well, I'm happy that you're feeling better and were able to sit down with us. Now back to Annie at the studio.
Thanks so much, Jessica. One of the most important measures to take to prevent these types of outbreaks in the future is to get vaccinated for meningitis. New research has shown that there are socioeconomic implications to meningitis since people in underprivileged populations with low income are at higher risk for developing this illness because they often lived in overcrowded housing and have limited access to vaccinations. Hennepin County Public Health has been taking evidence-based measures to prevent and control the spread of meningitis by starting a meningitis immunization campaign to provide vaccines to high-risk populations. They visited multiple universities, daycares, and homeless shelters. Finally, Hennepin County Public Health has a system in place to track who is being diagnosed with meningitis to watch for trends in places of living, work, and schools. Well, this has been a special report from SON17. Hennepin County would like to remind people to wash those hands, practice good hygiene, cover your mouth, and get vaccinated. Thank you, and have a good night.